Okay, we should be live now. Hello, how's it going, everyone? My name is Mitchell Mander, and welcome to my live stream. Today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Horizons, episode 81. Liko, Roy, Dot, and Friede versus Gouging Fire. So how is this episode? Well, before we go any further, if you're someone that's brand new here, and this is the first time you're coming across one of these streams, here's kind of what we do here. Typically, I give it a few minutes for people to show up, and about 5-10 minutes in, I'll give like a summary of the episode, my thoughts, and then I'll give a rating for the episode, and then I hand it over to the chat, or whoever's here, to give their thoughts on the episode, and then we just, talk for about an hour, roughly. So, an hour. These streams usually last about an hour and a half, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer, but typically hour and a half is what you'd be expecting from these, so, yeah. So if you're someone that's brand new, you should also subscribe to the channel, like the video, stream, and all that good stuff. In addition, the music you hear in the background comes from a separate stream, the Video Game Study Lounge from Game Shops, link in the description. Pretty much lo-fi video game remixes. Also some originals in there as well. It's pretty neat, as you can probably tell from what you could hear. I'd listen to it when I'm reading, studying, working out. I'm at work, I need something to distract me from the work day. And yeah, it's cool stuff. You should check it out sometime. Anyways, it looks like we got a few people in here. Look like Pokefan's here. What's up? Pokefan. Sharon's here. Hi, how's it going? So Quaxwell learned Aqua Cutter, which is good. Yep. Well, more on that later. Tinkatuff and Kilowattrel will be battling in next week's episode. Yep. Maybe they'll get a new move. Maybe they'll get a new move. Oh, before I go any further, I just want to say I would really appreciate it if you guys like the stream. If we can get at least 10 likes before the stream ends, that'd be great. So you guys are free to give your thoughts in the chat. I'll give it a couple more minutes, and then I'll get started on my thoughts on this episode, and yeah, then we'll go from there. So do you think this series could be done this year? It's a possibility. It's just going to depend on what we get for what's coming after Rayquaza Rising. I imagine if it were to end this year, there would be at least one more arc, but my expectation is probably next year, but we'll see. Miraculous Holder 365. I think they should have battled in this episode before. They should have battled in this episode before. I'm not sure what you mean. Could you elaborate? They should have battled. Okay, gotcha. They should have battled in this episode before the next one. I mean, technically they did battle in this episode. Or maybe just take a break or something. Because they kind of aren't getting any rest. They kind of took a lot of punishing damage from Gouging Fire. So their starter Pokemon are going to be pretty tired. But it looks like the secondary Pokemon are actually participating. It's actually happening, so maybe they will help out, since the starter Pokemon kind of got beat up there in this episode. So, yeah, more on that later. But hey, how's it going? Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night, wherever you're at. So, Lucius mistook Entei for Gouging Fire. Yep. And that's where we're at. Not really the best way to present it, but more on that in a little bit. So Roy did not catch Sandy's shocks. No. This episode was fully dedicated to battling Gouging Fire. There's no time for that. And in fact, I'm starting to think that is not going to be a possibility anymore. Since it looks like we're going to be done with Area Zero with next week's episode. Unfortunately. Honestly, I'm so very torn on this episode. To begin with, the battle was definitely decent. Dot was the MVP here. Now for the bad, they still didn't change my mind with the plot twist. Yeah, they didn't really do a very good job. They're just like, 100 years ago, it probably looked like an Entei. So they thought it was one. Yeah, which is kind of not really a great explanation for that. But I'll get more into that later when I do my summary. Liko will use Terapagos to fight Rayquaza. Yep, in the preview. Kilowattrel, Tinkatinka, and Hatterene. I was talking about them. Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah, they probably... I wish they would participate a little bit more. At least it's good they're battling on the Rayquaza stuff. I'm just saying, like, the starter Pokemon kind of got beat up a little bit in this episode, so, like, they can take a back seat. You know, the starter Pokemon can actually do stuff, but I have some thoughts about this upcoming episode, and I'll be sharing it on probably later on in the stream. But yeah, I'm going to answer a few more chats, and then I need to actually start my summary for this episode before I get to put it off too long. Tyrese, hi, what's going on? Welcome in. Tinkatuff has the type advantage against Rayquaza. That is true. Last monsters are gonna absolutely take L's. The second monsters are gonna take absolutely take L's next week like usual. Yeah, probably. Pretty much probably expected to happen. Remember Arvin? Yeah. Where is he? Where is Arvin? I need Arvin content in Horizons now. Maybe Hatterene can get a fairy type move against Rayquaza. Maybe learn it in the battle, but we'll see. I knew Quaxwell would learn Aqua Cutter. Yeah, probably at some point it was coming up. Gonna happen. Anyways, how's it going, Super Plush Productions? Welcome in. Each starter has 6 moves each. I don't think they have 6 moves. I'm pretty sure some moves are... I think they make a conscious effort to do only 4 moves now. Back in the day, they kind of got away with like some mons having like 6 or 7 or 8 moves. Like Ash's Snorlax. My goodness. What a moveset. Anyways, guys, at the 8-minute mark, I'm going to start actually doing the summary before I delay it any further. That way I can kind of get my thoughts out of the way. So I'm going to end right there at each starter has 6 moves each. And when I resume, I think I'll resume with Pokefan. So you guys feel free to keep chatting, but I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts on episode 81 of Pokemon Horizons. So obviously, the next day, we're kind of, looking out for a Gouging Fire. Sango and Onyx are spying on them. And then Gouging Fire just shows up. Just happened to show up because they're at the place where Gouging Fire was spotted. And it just shows up. And they're still under the impression that it's an Entei. They didn't even know it was a Paradox Pokemon at first. So they're like, okay, we know Entei's weaknesses. We've done this before, so let's just go and battle it. But yeah, this ain't Entei. So they slowly start to realize that what they're doing is not going to work. Its Burning Bulwark is actually kind of just preventing them from actually making any direct attacks. In fact, as soon as any of the Pokemon make direct contact with it, they get burned. And I like the fact that Friede actually pulls out a Burn Heal, which I thought was kind of nice. But anyways, I have to kind of readjust their strategy. And then eventually it whips out Dragon Pulse. So they realize, oh, this is a Fire type. Or Fire and Dragon type, excuse me. So this is interesting. It's not like your typical Entei. But I have to say, Dot is the MVP in this episode because she was calling the shots constantly. And honestly, she's responsible for this W here in this episode. Like, she was coming up with some brilliant strategies throughout the episode. And then, she realizes that the only thing they can really use against it is Stomping Tantrum. And obviously, as it's, using it more and more and it keeps missing, it builds up its attack and it doubles. So it's constantly getting stronger throughout the battle. So, eventually they come up with a strategy to basically, aim their attacks at it when it's using the its signature move, and once it lowers its defenses, that's when they strike, which they actually managed to do. They managed to actually get a critical hit on Gouging Fire here, but it eventually reveals its ability to basically heighten its power with the sunlight. It actually just shoots a Dragon Pulse in the sky and spreads the sky open so that it can do this, and it becomes way stronger. And at this point, this is when they're like, "Oh, this is actually a Paradox Pokemon." And Briar's just sitting there with the Scarlet Book and is like, "Oh, it's Gouging Fire." 100 years ago, it probably looked like an Entei to Lucius, but obviously it's not Entei. They're different species. But obviously now the tables have turned, but the thing that I find interesting is that Dot actually finds this exciting. Despite the fact that they're driven to a corner, the fact that they're slowly learning about their opponent is actually making the battle really exciting for her, which I thought was a pretty interesting point, and more on that in a minute. But they eventually have to come up with another strategy, otherwise they're about to get beaten. I also like a little moment where Captain Pikachu almost was about to take major damage, and Crocodile actually saves it with Flame Charge and gets it out of the way, which I thought was pretty cool. But anyways, they eventually terrestrialize their Pokemon, and they also discover that it's also using like a rampaging move, a Raging Fury. So at the end of it, it becomes confused. So Dot comes up with a strategy to get it into the water. Also, at one point, Dot's Quaxwell ends up trying to use Air Cutter on the water, and it ends up learning Aqua Cutter as a result, which I thought was pretty cool. So she implements this strategy where they get Gouging Fire to rage out, essentially. And then Captain Pikachu actually distracts it with its shadow clones. But anyways, they manage to lure it into the water, and then as soon as it hits the water, it becomes confused because it used a Raging Fury, and that's when Captain Pikachu comes in and delivers the final blow on it, which is probably one of the best animated moments I've seen from the series in a while, and wins. Although it doesn't completely take out Gouging Fire, it gets its approval. So I also want to mention, before I go any further, one thing that's interesting is that in the beginning, Gouging Fire was acting like it was just going to join them after they figured out that that's, Lucius's Pokemon. However, it ends up stealing Lucius's belt, and it's like, hey, if you want me to join you, you got to take this back. So at the end of it, they managed to get the belt to come out of Gouging Fire, and Florgato grabs it before, it can get it back. So as a result, they actually end up winning and getting the belt back. So it ends up joining them. However, we can't rest, because now that we got Gouging Fire, the other hero Pokemon, along with Gouging Fire, decide to summon Rayquaza, who just is magically there, shows up, and yeah, we're about to have like a climactic battle with the final the final Pokemon, the final hero Pokemon. We've already fought Rayquaza before, but this seems like it is going to be the final battle against Rayquaza. So, yeah. Anyways, for this episode, okay, so we'll get the good out of the way. I'd say overall, this is a very solid episode when it comes to the strategy and the battle. The animation was really good in this episode. It was really a fun episode overall, and in fact, I think that when it comes to actually getting the hero Pokemon's approval to join, or earning their approval, I think that this is probably the best one, just because it really shows how far the kids have come when it comes to just strategy, and just they can actually competently stand up to stronger Pokemon now. Obviously, alone they can't do anything, but together they're able to overcome the odds. And that makes sense by this point. They have battled a lot. They've gotten a lot stronger. I mean, constantly battling all these powerful Pokemon is definitely going to increase their power pretty quickly. So, in a sense, it does make sense for the kids to be able to actually keep up with Gouging Fire at this point. So, but like, the MVP in this episode was obviously Dot. She came up with a lot of clever strategies that ultimately won them the battle, which I thought was really cool. Shows that they actually really are a good team. And also, in addition, Dot actually shows some development a little bit here, where she talks about how exciting Pokemon battles are. I mean, she's obviously experienced, exciting battles, like, throughout the Terrestrial debut arc. But, like, this really was, like, an even a bigger turning point for her, because if you think about it, Dot in the beginning just didn't care about any of this stuff. She was doing her video just, because she liked streaming. It was something that she liked, but she wasn't really into going out and, like, making friends, or even going out in public. So, like, we just see that she is really starting to come out of her shell now, and she really enjoys this, so that's good. That shows us a little bit more development for Dot. So, yeah, I will say I'm a little bit dismayed because the pacing is just like, oh, we just got Gouging Fire, so, like, now we're just going straight to Rayquaza. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I was not expecting Rayquaza to be showing up here, as I mentioned in my discussion video the other day. I'm still shocked that we are actually facing off against Rayquaza here, and we didn't even get a break from Gouging Fire. All the Pokemon took some significant damage, so they're definitely not ready to take on Rayquaza, who is clearly the strongest of the hero Pokemon, as we've established before, so there's the good. So there's a lot of good in this episode. However, I still have to take a point off of this episode and its writing when it comes to Gouging Fire. It was not really written the best, in my opinion. It's just, oh, well, they probably just thought it was an Entei from 100 years ago. They're like, oh, it's an Entei, but now in modern times, we identify it as a Paradox Pokemon in a different species. So, like, yeah, if they didn't establish it as, like, Entei earlier on, and, like, if it was written a little bit better, I personally think that this would have been better. If, like, they looked at a picture of it and, like, oh, that kind of resembles an Entei, so we should probably, so the expectation is, like, oh, we go to Entei, and then obviously we did the stuff in Johto with Entei, and we're like, oh, it's not Entei, so then what is it, and then maybe we go to Briar, and she says, hey, I think it's a Paradox Pokemon. I think that if they would have gone that route, we didn't know about the hero Pokemon before, and they just didn't say, like, oh, it's Entei. I think that would have been a little bit better, but, like, I don't know. It feels a little clumsy. It's a clear bait and switch that I'm still not really fond of. That's probably one of the weaker aspects when it comes to Gouging Fire here. Other than that, I think, like, the actual, like, process of, like, the kid's process of gaining its approval was definitely my favorite so far. Even better than Kleavor's. So, yeah. So, like, I can weigh the good with the bad here. So, like, for me, like, this was a solid episode. For me, I'd say it's a strong 9 out of 10. It would actually be, like, higher if, like, they went that route. I'd argue 10 out of 10 if it was, like, if Gouging Fire was written a little bit better. I'm really curious to see how next week's episode is going to go, because obviously we still have the rest of this arc. We're not even at the conclusion here. Obviously we know we're going to Rakua now, so obviously there's going to be something big happening there, so yeah, we'll see. Anyways, my final rating right now is 9. Solid episode. Just wish Gouging Fire was maybe, like, presented a little bit better in the series. So that's just my thoughts. Anyways, time to get caught up in chat before it gets buried, because I see you guys here. I see you guys, so I know where I left off at. So we're starting with Pokefan. So I really found Gouging Fire idea so dumb. Let me endanger my teammates by risking setting them on fire, or worse, hurting them. I mean, I guess he's testing them, but, like, yeah. Remember Drake's Dragonite had 10 moves in one episode? Ooh. I mean, 6 moves each over the course of the series. Oh, gotcha. I found this to be a dot-focused episode. I mean, I would say it's not, like, completely dot-focused, but, like, she's clear, like, the forerunner here. And I'm imagining, like, based on the preview, Roy is going to be kind of like the main focal point in next week's episode, since he's the one that wants to get Rayquaza. So it makes sense for him to be kind of like the main star in next week's episode. So we'll see. I really, really hate the Scarlet Violet books have Paradox Pokemon info, especially on Gouging Fire. So how did Lucius and Ristle still not know what they were looking at when they had the freaking info on them? Yeah, and another thing too is like, isn't what's his face? Briar's ancestor. For some reason his name's escaping me, but like, I was gonna say he wrote the Scarlet Book around the same time, I'd assume, that Lucius was around. So yeah, that's a little bit of a plot hole, I would argue. So there's that. Dot had the type of advantage. Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, but like, Stomping Tantrum was gonna do more damage. Heath, yep, you're right. Thank you, Pokefan. I can always depend on you. I knew it was H. I was like, for some reason, I was thinking of another H name, so Heath. Got it. Thanks, man. Dot had, nah, water is neutral. Oof. Hee. Dot reminded me of Ash in this episode. Yeah, I mean, Liko when we went up against Gita was kind of pulling off a few stunts that reminded me of Ash. Not gonna lie. Gouging Fire was testing them. Yep. Ground, Rock, and Dragon are weaknesses. Makes sense to me. So Stomping Tantrum was the only super effective move. Yeah, the pacing feels rushed. Yeah, I kind of talked about it in my video, and I'll talk about it in a second once I get caught up in chat. Actually, you know what? Since both Pokefan and Sharon brought up the pacing, how do you guys feel about it, like everybody else? Because, like, yeah, this arc has been, like, all over the place. We left Paldea, went to Kitakami for a little bit, we literally learned about Lucius and Gibeon and their backstory. Went to Johto for a brief second, then went right back to Paldea and Area Zero. Now we're wrapping up Area Zero, and we're literally wrapping up the heroes. The search for the heroes is literally coming to an end, which kind of blows my mind. It's kind of been driving the story up to this point. So now next up is we're going to literal Recrua in like just a couple episodes, or in like a month, actually less than a month. That's crazy to me. It does feel like things are going really fast. Where it's kind of funny because Arc 2 or Chapter 2, whatever you want to call it, was really slow. If you guys recall, because we got like the first three hero Pokemon pretty quickly. Arbolivia, we got that in like episode 12, and then I think Galarian Moltres was around episode 22, I think 22, 23, somewhere around there, and then Lapras was around like episode 33, I believe. So then we were stuck in Paldea for a little bit. Things slowed down for a bit, and then we did Terastal, of course, and then we go to Kitakami, and not even related to Cleavor, and we find Cleavor there, just happens to be there. And then here we are, 2 months later, we got Gouging Fire and Rayquaza back to back, which kind of feels really a lot sooner than I was expecting. Like I said, I was not expecting Rayquaza until March, but here we are. So, unfortunately, I do feel like the series is kind of like running really fast right now compared to like Arc 2, for example. It does make me a little concerned, but I kind of got to know what's coming after this, because I don't feel like we're done with Recrua. I don't think we're just gonna visit here and then it's just like, oh, next arc is gonna be Blueberry Academy, and we're not doing like the hero plot anymore, and the Rising Bull Tacklers are gone now, but Liko, Roy, and Dot enroll in the Blueberry Academy. Like, I don't think we're going that route. I mean, unless they decide to do that. It's kind of hard it's really hard to predict what's coming next, though. I gave some brief predictions in my video the other day, but I do feel like there's something major is going to happen here, and I feel like we got to come back to Recrua later on, like at the end of the series, for like the climax of the series, so we'll see. Anyways, back onto the chat so that I don't get too far behind. Like they should have had a break before battling Rayquaza. Yep, pretty much. I agree. This probably was done to make it harder to defeat. Yep. A choking fire. What's up, Devin? How you doing? Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. I give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Gotcha. So would you say this was a dot focus episode? I don't know if I would call it dot focus so much, but like she clearly was like the reason they won this battle, really. It was a joint effort between all of them, you know. You know, Liko's the one that's trying to appeal to Gouging Fire. Roy stomping Tantrum was actually doing some major damage to it earlier in the battle, but Quaxwell learning a new move and, you know, doing its strategy at the end to get it in the water was what won them the battle. And they were doing this on the fly, too. So, very impressive for the kids. And also Captain Pikachu. Technically, it was the kids and Captain Pikachu also jumping in there with Friede helping out. So, technically, you know, the kids got a little bit of assistance there. I don't know if they would have won without Friede's assistance. So, take of that what you will. I really hope Roy gets the final hit on Rayquaza since it's his goal. That might happen. I mean, technically, didn't that really happen in the last time? Or Fuecoco really hurt Rayquaza last time? Maybe he does this again and it really hurts Rayquaza and it takes it down. We see Rayquaza just fall over and destroy part of Area Zero. All because a little croc boy decided to just flame charge it and hit it in the face. I think they should have spent more time in these places. Yeah, that's the thing, is like they obviously are. I'm just gonna be real. There's gonna be stuff that's gonna just not show up in the series at this point, unless they somehow decide to cram it in later. Which is kind of what happened in the previous series, which is why once I get to the end of the series, I do have some thoughts for what potentially could be the next Pokemon series after this. Because obviously they did their own thing with Horizons, but with the next series, I kind of want the next series to focus on the current region only. I mean, I think Horizons have done a better job than the prior series, but I still am. When you do this, like, where we're going all across the world, it's kind of, you know, taken away from the current region. But, oh well. I'll elaborate that. I'll elaborate on that, like, later down the road, though. I always thought that the hero search would take a bit longer, but no, we seem to just get them pretty quick. Heck, if we didn't get Season 3, we probably would have had all 6 by then. Yeah, probably. I mean, before we did, like, Season 3, or Arc 3, whatever you want to call it, I remember they were all scratching their heads. They're like, oh, like, we're in the world's Cleavor, we're in the world's Entei, we're in the world's Rayquaza. And it's just kind of funny, because, like, it's like, they got delayed because the Bravasagi got destroyed. So it had to be repaired throughout the entire Terrestrial Course arc. Or Terrestrial Debut arc. And then as soon as they go back out, it's just like, we go to Kitakami, and we unintentionally come across Cleavor. And then we find an Entei, an actual Entei in Johto. And it's like, oh, well, that's not the Entei we were looking for. And then we go right to Area Zero, and we find it where it was said to have been spotted, like, almost immediately. And now Rayquaza's here, so it's like, okay. Honestly, this was done a lot faster than the first 3. Oh my gosh. Because there's like 10 episodes between the last 3. I mean, with Cleavor, we got Cleavor like nearly 10 episodes ago, but yeah. There's no break between Gouging Fire and Rayquaza. We're just going right for it. That's the crazy part. The pacing was a little rushed, but we need less filler anyways. I mean, that's the thing, is like, people thought that Arc 2, or the Shiny and Terrapagos arc, was just too slow. I remember people complaining during that time. Because that was like the biggest problem. Like, I remember before Terrestrial Debut, people were just like, oh, the series is boring. Oh, it's not good. This is what happens. when you try to do this in Pokemon. It's not the Pokemon anime anymore. It's an anime but with Pokemon in it kind of thing. I saw that all over social media for like a little bit there, so. But now that it's going fast paced, it's like, oh, feels like we're doing things a little too fast. Not all bad, but just it's kind of surprising that this is what we're getting here, because like I said in my video the other day, if you told me back in September that, oh, we're going to have Gouging, the rest of the hero Pokemon gathered up like within the next 6 months, and we're gonna be in Rakua, I would have been like, no, I'm like, no way. I'm like, no way. That ain't happening for like a year, but here we are. Like I said, I feel like there's got to be more to this. Like, I feel like this is just like, we're gonna enter Rakua, but like, we're gonna have to come back here, because I feel like it would be weird for us to end the series like so soon. Like, I can tell you right now, Horizons, I'd be like flabbergasted if it just ended in April or March, because there's no indication that it's going to end. Obviously, this series is going on at least till like the latter part of this year, if not early next year. But yeah, who knows? It's very hard to predict what's going to happen next. Very, very hard to predict. I have no idea where the series is going anymore. So we'll see what happens as we keep going. I mean, people want less filler, so Crocodile should use disarming voice. It's super effective. Could have. If they faint, the Rayquaza people are going to be ungrateful and complain like usual. I don't see Rayquaza getting knocked out. I see, I can see them doing enough damage to where it finally is like, okay, you guys are worthy. We're going to Lucius now. Rayquaza's like, get on my back. We're going straight to Rakua. Maybe the hero Pokemon just remember where it's at, so they know where to go. Or maybe Rayquaza knows, so they just hop on Rayquaza and go straight there. I don't know. We'll see. It would have been nice to see Kieran and Kitakami and see Ogerpon and the Disloyal 3. Yeah, but like the thing about it is, as soon as they announce Kitakami and like where this, like the story this series is telling, I'm like, it doesn't really make sense right now. I will say I do hope that Kieran and like Carmen, Carmen comes back and then Kieran's in the series, because like the series kind of like disappointed me with Carmen's appearance. Wasn't really great, if you ask me. So hopefully she makes an appearance. I imagine Blueberry Academy is going to be a thing. If Kitakami can be in the series, Blueberry Academy can. For what reason, we don't know. I think Lucius's Pokeballs are fireproof. That's why Gouging Fire wasn't concerned when taking the belt. Maybe 8 out of 10. That's a fair rating. Maybe as Legend ZA arc. I've said this before. I'm kind of on the like, as cool as that would be, I'm a little bit unsure if that's something they will do, because we didn't get a Legends Arceus arc. We got a 4-episode special, and it didn't really do like much with Legends Arceus. Besides having one episode where Ash, Dawn, and Go were in the Hisuian outfits, and then they like teased the Pokemon. But like the rest of it was just very unrelated. I know I've already spoken about this, so like I mean, obviously Horizon and like the series that shall not be named, I almost said it. Different series, so they could actually do a Legend ZA arc, but the question is like, how would that be implemented? Also, we still need to get like more information on ZA before like we can speculate on that too. I mean, I imagine we're probably going to be getting an actual trailer for the game probably on Pokemon Day, since they teased it last year, but the leaks definitely impacted the Game Freak as a whole, so I can understand why we haven't heard anything since. So, not gonna lie, the flashback being the kid's point of view is very dumb. Like, why not have it be Ristel's point of view? Yeah, that was kind of strange, but I get it. I get why they did it. It's still kind of a like Yeah. Not really the best way it was written. You all know how I feel about it. I didn't want it to be Gouging Fire from the start, but turns out they wanted to do that anyway, so just wish they didn't just pull this off. But anyways, enough of that. Carmen really did nothing in the series yet. Yeah, she basically was a rival to Friede and didn't even interact with the kids, so that kind of bothered me. At least Purin actually had like some relevance in that arc. And then Briar, obviously, she was there and now she's here in Area Zero with the kids, so she's at least relevant. But like, yeah, that's why I'm under the impression that like Carmen was just teased. Carmen was teased here, and she's gonna maybe have a bigger role later on. Hopefully that's the case. I just I don't like it when the series brings in characters that, you know, people. I mean, some people may or may not like them, but they'll bring in a character and they like that's significant in the games, and they don't do anything in the series. Hop anyone from the prior series? How about that? He's just a cheerleader in the series. But yeah, it's just hard to say because like the story that Horizons is telling, it's like how do you implement all these things, you know? Like when we went to Kitakami and when the Ogre Pun and the Disloyal 3 weren't brought up, I'm like, yep, they are not gonna be showing up here. And odds, the chances of them showing up now are very slim now. It's kind of like a certain Pokemon from Crown Tundra that should have seriously shown up in the previous series, but never did. Honestly, could have made a good hero Pokemon if you ask me. I mean, we could get something with Gibeon and Zygarde. I mean, that is true, but like again, we don't know yet. We'll find out on Pokemon Day, I guess, which is like about a little over a month away. I don't know if I'm going to stream my reaction to that or not yet or not. The problem with the Pokemon Day stuff is like, well, it's cool. Like most of it is like, oh, hey, here's a new update for Pokemon Go. Here's a new update for Pokemon Masters. Here's a new update for Unite. And like all the like mobile games and stuff. It's like, I don't really care about this stuff. Could you like tell me about, you know, the games? Like especially it's at this point it'd be like, okay, I'm pretty much here for ZA news. And yeah. So we'll see. I'll think about it. Just think about it. We didn't even really get a Scarlet and Violet arc either, just the characters appearing without their storylines. Well, the anime always kind of does its own thing, so like, yeah, it loosely tells the stories from the game, so I don't know if I don't know how Koraidon and Miraidon are going to make an appearance in the series now, unless they're like some keys at the end or something like that. They could go that route where like something happens in Rakua, and like the next phase of the series is we have to search out for Koraidon and Miraidon or something like that. I know that's kind of like seriously going into like major headcanon stuff, but like I wouldn't be surprised if like they had to seek them out for something. I don't know. I'm just coming up with stuff at this point, or like some other Pokemon from Paldea that they could utilize, or just something. I don't know, man. Who knows? That's why I said the series is so unpredictable now. It is hard to figure out what is coming next. This is even more difficult than the prior series. So, we'll see what happens. Whatever happens at the end of this arc is definitely going to pave the way for whatever is following. So, we'll see what happens. Also, I'll take a quick second before I continue to say, if you're someone that's new here, you should definitely subscribe to the channel. If you haven't liked the stream yet, please do so. Likes help in the algorithm of YouTube's and push the stream out to more people. We could get some more people in here. So if you could like the video, I'd appreciate it. And also vote in the poll if you haven't. It looks like as of right now we have 11 votes. And 10-9 is currently winning with 73%. So cast your votes and hit that like button. Anyways, back to the chat. Like maybe it goes 100% form and the hero Pokemon and Liko and company have to fight it. Maybe. Or something from ZA. Who knows? I do find it particular that Zygarde is here. I feel like that is kind of done for a reason to maybe be a promotional vehicle for ZA, but we're going to need some more information on ZA before we can kind of determine what could potentially happen with Gibby and Zygarde. Bede hasn't even made his debut. Yeah, I've kind of yeah. He didn't even show up. RIP. Half the gym leaders didn't show up, so they're still missing, which is still definitely is a choice, if I must say so. You could have probably implemented them into the PWC, but you know, we had to focus on B. Anyways. Hop was just there and Marnie had a battle with Ash, which was good. Could have been a little bit more, but that was at least something. Better than nothing. Better than Hop. Just saying. Wait, how did the kids know Zygarde is shiny? How would the kids know the... I don't know. That is a good point, Pokefan. Kinda throws a wrench into everything, doesn't it? Maybe, maybe not. They did not even bring up the professors and how they time traveled. Yeah, they were getting into something there in the previous episode, and then they kind of just went to the kids' perspective, and you kind of missed out on that conversation. So the series deliberately, the series did that deliberately. So what do you expect to happen when they're in Rikua? Obviously, we're gonna have a big battle between the explorers. We're gonna see what Rikua is like. Probably we'll get to see Lucius, but I feel like something major is gonna happen here that is going to determine like what's going to happen post this arc. So we'll see what happens. Yo, what's up, Rick's the Rat King? Cam, how's it going? How are you doing today? I got kidney punched while trying to acquire Pokemon cards at Costco because Jake Paul said it would make me rich. Dang. Need to get some revenge on him. Oh well. Maybe do it when he's not looking, because isn't the guy a pretty good a boxer? So might want to get him when he's not looking, and then book it. Oh, what I meant was, unlike Ash's series, Horizons has really retold anything storylines from the game, whereas Ash's series would, even if it wasn't its own way. Yeah, that's pretty much kind of the expectation. They clearly want the anime to be, they want it to differentiate it from the games, which is not a bad thing. Like, instead of getting like a straight adaptation where you kind of know, because like if you got a straight adaptation, you'd be like, yep, we went through this, yep. I mean, you could expand on stuff, but like it's kind of the same story. But like, there's also the manga too, but the manga also does its own thing as well, so that way you kind of got a unique experience with each medium. So I find that to be kind of interesting. So not a bad thing. It's just that, yeah, you're just the prior series cut out some of the gym leaders. Yeah, no Nessa, Milo, Gordy, or Melanie. Yeah, Nessa is the only, like, out of all of them, Nessa is the one that hurts the most. Very disappointed in ya. Series that shall not be named. Here in Horizons, the game characters have been used to help develop Horizons' original story. Yeah. And we'll see if Arvin has a major role later on. I have a video that I've been I teased, I think, in the previous stream. I came up with a joke video, but I don't know if I'm going to do it yet or not, but it involves Arvin. It won't be like a super long video or anything, but it's just like a joke video. I haven't done a joke video in a long time on the channel, so it might be time to do one. And then I'm gonna watch as like half the internet tears me to shreds, kind of thinking I'm being for real, like they've done in the past. The last time I did a joke video, I pretty much thought my channel was over, so maybe I should do that. What do you guys think? Want that Arvin video? I still gotta flesh it out a little bit more, but I'll make it funny. I'll make it funnies. At least try to be funny, at least, or fail at trying. I don't know. Just go back and look at the most viewed video on my channel. It will Marnie fall in love with Ash, and you'll get kind of a vibe of where I'm gonna be going with it. Hearing her, yeah, I've read that already. Do you think Florgato will evolve when they are in Rikua? Okay. I think there's 2 chances for Florgato to evolve in this arc. It's either going to evolve here in this battle against Rayquaza, or it's going to battle in like the climactic battle in Rikua. Predictions are going to be hard for the future for sure. Yeah, very. Especially now that the series is it's giving out summaries in a very weird fashion. I think we got a summary for episode 84, I want to say. But like the summaries for the previous 2 episodes are still missing. Oh, actually no, I think we got a summary for episode 82 now, obviously since it's next week, but I think the summary for the Metheo episode is still pending. Unless it's been updated since the last time I checked. Which I haven't checked in a minute. I can check right now, actually. Let's check right now so that we can be for sure. I'm liking this Sonic remix, though. Off topic, but yeah. Okay, in Metheo, there is a title only, no summary. So, yep, still no summary. I feel like the kids will time travel to the past and future with Raiden and Raiden. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's the route we're gonna take. We'll see. Do you think they will do Herba Mystica stuff? I mean, I don't think we're doing Team Star unless we're going a completely different route this next part of the year. But like if they kind of if they're skipping over that potentially, I kind of don't think the Herba Mystica stuff is going to happen unless it ties into something. It would have to tie into something, in my opinion, in order to work out for the series. So who knows? If people can't take a joke, then they sound like they should take a humor class. Good point. I'll find that video and I'll put it on my Discord, and all you need to do is just take a look at the comment section. That Pikachu is totally gonna evolve in episode 35 in Pokemon Journeys. Oh, I said the word. Pokemon in the series that shall not be named. The comment section roasted me, and it was so bad that they went on to my other videos that were unrelated to the series that shall not be named, and were literally telling me how wrong I was. And I'm like, dude, this has nothing to do with that. Why are you harassing me? Fun times from 2020. Not gonna lie, I really want Skilly Dirge next week, considering Roy's goal, but unfortunately I can't see it. Neither can I. I feel like it was the last one to evolve, so it evolving first would that'd be definitely a choice. Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like Florgato is up next. I want to see Dot battle Penny. I would like a Dot versus Penny battle. I just don't know if that's feasible at this point. The Titan Pokemon was done with the heroes, essentially, so we technically did it already. Technically, yeah, especially Orbolivia. It's like a huge Orbolivia, so, like, my headcanon is that it probably had some Herba Mystica. or something, because like it is like way bigger than it should be. Crocodile will evolve in the next arc. See Kieran being a rival to Roy. I would like that. It's just, again, I don't know what's coming up next, so it's kind of hard for me to say, like, yeah, that's going to happen. I mean, I think it's plausible, but, like, it's going to depend on where we're heading. And unfortunately, I cannot predict where we're heading, because it's kind of, I'm kind of unsure, which I guess is a good thing for the series, because you just never know what's going to happen, which is good. And I can definitely appreciate the series doing that. It makes it harder for us to figure out what's happening next. Whereas in prior Pokemon series, you kind of had an idea what was going on, unfortunately. Okay, have we really been streaming for almost an hour? Oh my gosh. Like Champion Kieran and Blueberry Academy. Maybe. Also want to see Lacey, Drayden, and Armoraze. Drayden would be cool. He's probably one of the cooler characters from Blueberry Academy. Lacey's kind of cool too. It's just, again, like, I kind of feel like Carmen's appearance so far in Horizons, her one appearance was very underwhelming. So it would be kind of weird if that was her only appearance in the series. I feel like they would do a major disservice to, like, the Scarlet Violet characters if they did something like that, since she is a prominent character in the DLC. Not as prominent as her brother, really, especially towards the latter half, but, like, she's still, like, you know, a prominent character, so, like, do something with her, you know? Like, with Arven showing up, I kind of consider that to be a tease. Like, I don't think he's just going to show up and then that's it. Like, that would be, like, honestly insulting, especially to people that were looking forward to him. Considering, like, a lot of people consider him to be the best character in the game, if not one of the best, like, in all Pokemon. Like, I'll say this again. I'm not the biggest fan of Scarlet and Violet, but if there's one thing that I will absolutely defend from these games, it's Arven and his character arc. It is so good. It is very heartwarming, and it's very, like, honestly, and also tragic at the same time. It's just really cool. Like, really, Scarlet and Violet's story really was almost like, I almost want to say that's Arven's story, but, like, yeah. He's easily my favorite character since N, so. And I will admit, I'll admit to you guys that N is my favorite character in Pokemon. So, me saying that is a bold statement. So if he were just to show up in episode 67, just watch Liko and Roy's battle, and then like smile in one shot, and that's it, yeah, I'm gonna have some problems. Imagine if Kieran uses a Hydra Apple, and that's its debut. You know, you bring up a good point, Sharon. That would actually be pretty neat. Maybe they should do that. Oof. Anyways, I just want to remind the people in the chat and then whoever's watching the stream, if you could hit that like button, I would definitely appreciate it. We are currently at 6. Got 4 more, and hopefully we can get up to 10 before the stream ends. And also a reminder to vote in the poll. Go to the Pokemon, go to the polls. Someone rated this 6.5. Harlster, what's up? How you doing? It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. Kind of run out of stuff to say. You're fine. So, I guess if you don't have anything else, one thing that I was gonna bring up was, I think I mentioned earlier, like, what I mentioned earlier I was gonna talk about, yeah, we're battling Rayquaza next week, which is still kind of crazy to me, I like the fact that the secondary Pokemon are participating. That is such a good thing. My biggest concern is that they're going to be taken out like really soon. So, especially since the starters have kind of taken significant damage in the prairie battle. So, I don't know. I feel like they should be more involved, but like, I also don't think they're ready for Rayquaza because they just haven't participated a ton. So it's like, I don't know. I'm like happy, but I'm also like worried. Also, our child Lodon, can't pronounce things, with Drayden as its debut. Maybe. It's been a while indeed. I'm good. How about you? I'm doing alright. I'm getting kind of hungry now, but I'm doing alright. Just chilling. We've been talking for about an hour now, and just talking about good old Pokemon Horizons and episode 81 today. It's a fun time. Trying to get into the nonsense that happened yesterday because people really weren't nice all day. Trying not to get into that nonsense. Yeah, I wouldn't bother with it if they're just gonna be like jerks and ignore them. It's not worth injecting yourself into that environment. Like, if people are gonna be like that, the best thing to do is just to take yourself out of it. You know, if they want to be that way, let them be that way in their circle. It's okay to criticize, but insulting is not cool. Don't do it. Hey kids, don't insult people. Be good. I enjoyed this battle. Feels like they found Gouging Fire a bit too easily, but that was probably for the best. Well, yeah, they literally showed up to the place that was last seen, and it just showed up in front of them, and it's like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? I'm Lucius's Pokemon. you got to take this belt back, or else. So, yeah. Cool. FF7 music. Okay. Well, we are approaching the 1 hour mark of the stream, so... And there's about 10 of you guys here. I know some people are probably lurking, which is fine. We love you guys. Thank you for the lurks. But for anybody that's in the chat, it's kind of open forum at this point. Feel free to, like, if you have anything, give your thoughts, predictions, and where do you think the series is going from here? What do you think is happening after Rakua? Do you think there's something going to happen major here? Do you think the whole Hero, Terapagos, Lucius, all that stuff is going to be ending? And they're just going to move on to another arc of the series? Kind of would be a little strange since that's been driving the plot for a long time, but hey. Who knows what the series is cooking, right? I'm going to say Liko's actually using Terapagos next week, finally. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. I think it's because now that all 6 heroes are present, it's actually going to be fully utilizing its abilities here. So we're probably going to see it like on full display here. So that is actually something to look forward to. Especially if you one of those guys that's been waiting for Terapagos to actually battle and do something. Here you go. Also, why didn't they just show it as a Gouging Fire in the flashback? I know why they did it, but I feel like they made things muddier rather than, oh wow, what a twist, you know what I mean? That's what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, the problem is that, like, it's not like the worst thing in the world that it's like, oh, we actually, you know, we thought it was an Entei, but it's actually Gouging Fire, a different species. Like, that's not inherently the problem. Like, I would be alright with that if things are kind of written a little bit differently. Because the way it was written was not presented very well, in my opinion. Because they're like, oh, like, when Diana way back when said it was an Entei, you know, she presented it as such, and we didn't think anything otherwise. And then obviously as we got closer to it in promotional materials, they show Entei. In the flashback, they show Entei. And their reasoning behind, like, this switch and, like, thinking, like, oh, it's not actually an Entei, it's this. Briar just says, oh, well, 100 years ago, they probably just mistook it for an Entei. Like, that's kind of like a lame, in my opinion, that's a lame way to be like, oh, well, we thought it was this, but it's actually this. Oh, they probably just didn't know. And it's modern times now, and we can differentiate the two. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's why I take a point off this episode, because, like, dude, that's not the way you go about it. There's ways they could have done this a little bit better. Like, they could have shrouded it in a little bit more mystery, where they're just like, hey, but there's a Pokemon that, according to Lucius's notes, this is an Entei. Or his other Pokemon was an Entei. And then when we get to the point where we're looking for the next hero, they could have been like, oh, this Entei looks a little bit strange. It doesn't look like your typical Entei or something like that. They could have there's ways they could have done it that would have made it like, oh, well, you know, it's actually an Entei. Like, I don't buy the plot twist personally. It's a clear bait and switched, and not necessarily the best type either. So that's like my one critique here for this for Gouging Fire. Other than that, the battle was fine. In fact, I said it earlier in the stream. It is my favorite battle amongst the, like, hero Pokemon. It is definitely the best one, even better than Cleavor, just because the strategies used and the way that they got Gouging Fire's approval was great. And I like the fact that Gouging Fire was acting friendly at first, but it was all kind of a ruse. And it's like, oh, well, you gotta win my approval. You need to win this belt back, otherwise they're staying with me. So, I don't know. All of that was kind of cool. Not to mention Dot was really cool in this episode. So, I hope it's Roy that returns Rayquaza to its ball. If they do indeed get Rayquaza, which looks likely, but you never know for certain. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen exactly, but, like, well, actually, no, we do know what's going to happen. I know maybe a little bit on the spoilery side, but since we know we're going to Rakua, we have to get Rayquaza. But I'm just gonna put it out there that the summary for episode 84 is available out there, and based on that summary, yeah, we have Rayquaza. Dot was a star in this episode. I would say so. She was the MVP. She was calling a lot of the shots. She's honestly the reason why they won and got Gouging Fire's approval. She's the one at the end of the episode. She's like, "Hey, look, we got the belt back. We win." I wouldn't say it's a Dot focused episode, but I'd say, like, she's clearly the MVP in this episode, for sure. I can't wait for, oh my god, I caught Rayquaza. Actually, Roy, it's just back in its ball. It's not your Pokemon, bud. Roy just has the Pokeball, or the ancient Pokeball. He's gonna hold it in his hand. He's like, I got you back. You're mine now. But yeah. Okay, anything else, you guys? It seems like things are kind of starting to slow down, wind down here, just because we're down to like 5 people now. We've been going for an hour, so it makes sense that some people drop off over time. Also, I absolutely hate when people put in their title, Liko caught X-Hero Pokemon. Oh my gosh, she didn't catch... Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of I'm getting a little bit on the tired side from some of the clickbait I'm seeing in the community, but like that's nothing that's new though. That's something that's persisted. But hey, apparently I'm also part of it too because of that one video I made. So I'll post that later on in the Discord. Probably not immediately after the stream, but like at some point here today, I'm gonna go back and find it and then put it out there. How I know about the next few episodes, the 99.9% chance of happening, but imagine Rayquaza was there kind of like a third party turned ally, and when the explorers and Zygarde got involved. Wasn't Rayquaza Lucius's first Pokemon? I'm pretty sure Lucius got Rayquaza before he met Gibeon. Or am I wrong? Not sure, y'all. The fact that it's actually his starter is wild. I know. That still is kind of mind-blowing because I'm like, oh, this guy, they're like, what's your first Pokemon? It's like, oh, Billy gets a Squirtle, you know, Timmy gets a Charmander, Lucius gets a freaking shiny Rayquaza that's already like high-leveled. Hey, and Lucius like, hey, Timmy, Billy, let's battle. And Rayquaza just like vaporizes them. Like, oops, sorry. I'm just throwing ideas out there if they didn't get Rayquaza, but they most likely will. I mean, I've been thinking about making a video, but like, I don't have a summary for episode 83. I like how like episode 84 has a summary, but episode 83 doesn't, which means episode 83 is gonna be like one of those episodes they don't want anybody to know about. They do that from time where they don't give a summary out, so that's kind of a choice. If you guys didn't notice that. The fact that it's actually a starter is crazy. Yeah. Oh yeah, but I already read that. Cause bro, it seems to have had Rayquaza for a long time, even before he met Ristle. Yeah. For all we know, he had him for a very long time. Lucius took that Tobias medicine. I mean, technically, Lucius is before Tobias, so wouldn't it be Tobias is taking Lucius's medicine? Just saying, huh? Not the Tobias medicine. Allegedly, we don't actually know if Darkrai was his first Pokemon, but it definitely felt like it was. Yeah, probably. He looked up to the ancient explorer and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a legendary of my own." So here I got Darkrai. Oh wait, I'm not done yet. I'll get another one. Yeah, speaking of leaks, I'm very happy Griffin retired because bro made speculation not fun. He would just spoil everything, and people would talk about what he said and ruin it. Yeah, and sometimes he kind of was a little bit on the trolly side. Yeah, seeing as he doesn't enjoy the series, it kind of makes sense, but he still pipes in from time to time. But yeah. Whew. Just chilling, talking about Horizons. Okay, let's take a look at the... Oh, wow. We went up from 11 to 17 votes. Cool. Cool. You got me on a technicality there. We knew of Tobias first, but you're right. In the Pokemon world, Lucius was before Tobias. Fair play, good sir. Yep. That's what I figured. I'm like, wait, unless Lucius took like a time machine to the future, it's like, whoa, look at this guy at the Sinnoh League. I'm gonna copy that, but I'm gonna go find my own legendary. And then he comes across Rayquaza, the shiny Rayquaza, and he's like, go ancient Pokeball. Catches it on the first try somehow. I got it. I didn't even need a Pokemon. It was confirmed by staff Tobias had a full team of legends and mythicals. Yeah. So, the dude was stacked. Very dull and very full. Sounds about right. Haven't voted because I'm pretty unsure how to rate it. I want to go with a 6 because battle was good, but plot twist really hurts my rating. I mean, that's your choice, whether you want to vote or not. The choice is yours. I'm getting a little less. I wouldn't say sleepy. I'm more so hungry than anything. I forgot what I voted for. Let me check. Gotcha. You know, I feel dumb. I just realized they're playing Pokemon music on the Lo-Fi channel. Video Game Study Lounge. A Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon Lo-Fi remix. Nice. Voted 10-9. Gotcha. Thank you for the vote. I appreciate it. You know what's a mystery? I think about sometimes. What was Kukui's 6th Pokemon? I guess we'll never find out. He was about to throw it out too, but Tapu Koko said no. What if it was like a super broken Pokemon and it's just like, yeah, sorry, Ash. I'm champion now. Aerith theme. Missing, no. Oh lord. I would give it a 9. Only thing that takes it to a 9 was the twist, but also the fact that it was there straight away. Imagine it was Marshadow or something. That'd have been cool. You saw Marshadow for like a brief second in the series and then it just dipped. Yeah, 9's what I gave it, so just because that twist takes off a point for me. Okay. I think we'll go on just a little bit longer before we wrap things up. I am getting kind of hungry out over here. So, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm up for anything now, at least until I decide I want to eat. I have something really good I'm going to heat up. So, yep. Anything else, y'all? Also, apparently the weather's getting a little bit warmer too, so that's cool. Do you think that Sandy's shocks will come into play before this arc is over? It would be cool. I'd be down for something like that. It's just that I'm a little bit unsure. I feel like the chances have kind of dimmed a little bit now that we're pretty much wrapping up this arc. It'd be cool if it came in and, you know, saved the day or something. So, I mean, people were speculating whether Roy could potentially get it just because of what happened at the end of last week's episode and it humming Roy's song. That would be cool. If it comes in and, you know, helps, like, in the battle against Rayquaza, I'd actually be kind of happy with that. And maybe it wants to go with Roy. It'd be crazy if Roy got Sandy Shocks and Rayquaza in one episode, my goodness. The Mad Lad. I don't know, but we'll see. Well, I'm going to eat, then also got to go be a responsible pet owner and take care of my doggo. Alright, Pokefan. Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope you have fun with your doggo. Hope you have a great day. It's always a pleasure. And I guess we'll see you in the next one. Unlikely, but if he did, I'd be happy. Yep, me too. It ain't no legendary like Terapagos, but hey, a Paradox ain't bad. Yeah. You know what? I thought it was pretty cool in last week's episode because, like, the focus was Sango and Roy. But Sango had the greater emphasis and she got Screamtail. So Roy getting Sandy Shocks would be a pleasant surprise. It's just, I don't know if it's going to happen. It'd be cool. It would be cool. But, hey. One can hope, right? I'm also kind of disappointed we haven't seen any Violet Paradox Pokemon. You know, it's kind of interesting because I believe that some of them were kind of advertised in the magazine scans. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one or two here before we leave Area 0. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. Yo, what's up, Clawless? How's it going? How are you doing? What did you think of the episode? Now that you're here. Also vote when you get a chance. We're up to 18 votes. Majority says 10-9. I don't have much to say other than the music at the end. Sweet Lord, I was stunned, jaw wide open. Yeah, the music was good. I like that. You point that out. I didn't actually mention that. The music, besides like the animation in the battle and a lot of stuff going on there, the music was actually really good. They're really building up Rayquaza for like this climactic final battle against it. So definitely intrigued to see how things are going to play out next week. But yeah, I agree. It was actually really cool. Definitely how you bring a Pokemon like Rayquaza back into the scene. That's the way to do it. And by the Violet Paradox Pokemon, I'm more referring to Iron Valiant or Iron Bundle, which is my favorite Paradox Pokemon out of all of them. Might be a hot take, but I love Iron Bundle so much. That's fair. I got Scarlet, so I was stuck with the past Pokemon, which I do like most of them, though. Most of them, at least. Some designs are a little bit iffy, and you guys know how I feel about Gouging Fire, so. My love for the track at the end completely overshadowed everything else this episode for me. Gotcha. That's fair. Oh yeah, the music too. That was phenomenal too. Good shout. Yep. I think we're all in agreement here that's present. God, I love these originals that the Video Game Study Lounge comes out with. They're really cool. Keyless Dragon Ball. Hey, what's up? Hope you're doing well. Got any thoughts for the episode? Good to see Dot shine. Agreed. It was a good episode for Dot. I keep saying to myself, wow, I can't believe this is a track for the Pokemon anime. Yeah, the music has been really good in this series. It's arguably the best. I mean, there's some tracks in the prior series that I feel are too iconic, but this series is giving them a run for their money with all the good tracks that have been coming out. Dot strategy was very smart. Glad she is flexing her battle skills now. Yeah. Like I said earlier in the stream, she was the MVP in this episode for sure, and honestly was the reason why they won. If it wasn't for her, I don't know if they would have actually won the battle. In fact, if Friede wasn't there helping out as well with Captain Pikachu, I feel like they would have had an even harder time. So, yeah, Captain Pikachu. Got to give a shout out to him. The chat he is. Episode was fun. Very nice shots and effects. VFX worked. Yeah, I agree. Especially the last part with Captain Pikachu attacking Gouging Fire. That was really well animated. I'm very curious about next week's episode because Iwane is involved. So, and if you know anything about Iwane, yeah, his work is always really good in the series. So, yeah, even better. What I find funny is people still think Liko, Dot, and Roy are rookies. Like, bro, they're not rookies anymore at this point. Yeah, I was going to say they are not rookies. I mean, some people kind of complain about the power scaling in the series, and in some cases I believe it is fair to say that there's some criticism there. But, like, the one thing that you can't really, like, take away from is the fact that, like, the kids are kind of being constantly exposed to, like, these super powerful Pokemon. So, obviously, they're going to get stronger as a result. Not to mention, we had a whole arc that was essentially a training arc, being Terrestrial Debut. And now they can terrestrialize their Pokemon, so, yeah. And the fact that they actually managed to defeat Gita is, like, a statement. I mean, obviously they couldn't do it alone, but them being able to do that is, like, a huge milestone for them. So, they ain't rookies. They aren't the strongest trainers in the world, but they ain't weak anymore. The only, like, thing that I can say is their secondary Pokemon really need more battle experience. Like, desperately need more. At least they're getting it in the next episode, right? It's just I'm a little worried, like PokeFan said earlier, that they're going to be taken out early. Please. The starter Pokemon already took enough beatings in the battle against Gouging Fire, so, like, do something. Okay, her and Friede were the keys, yep. What I find funny is people still think Liko... Okay, I'm sorry, I read that already. I'm glad to see Cat battle again, because, well, I'm glad the kids are growing and strong on their own now, but I will say I did miss Cat battling. Yeah, it was cool to have him in there. Also, I still saw people mad over the Gita loss. I mean, I do think that the ending for that was a little much. And I can understand why people are upset, but yeah. Doesn't really help her reputation. Oh, hey, look, it's Emerald. He's here. Guess the stream's not ending. Liko barely beat one of her Pokemon and she still had help. Well, that's the thing again. They're not fighting alone. If they fought alone, they would not win. But working together, they came up with an actual strategy that worked against them. Or against her, so. And look at what happened with Gouging Fire. They're learning. I'm learning. And Roy and Dot lost to Gita too. Yeah, they shielded Florgato at the end, so they sacrificed themselves to win the battle. Whew. Guys, I have one more like and I will be at 10. Can we do it before this stream ends? Just one more like. And also vote. Well, yeah, we're up to 20 votes. Okay. Yep. They acting like Gita used her full team. She used 2 Glimmet, and you'd be surprised how much 3 minds can do compared to 1. Even 3 idiots thinking together can surprise an intelligent person. It's one way to put it. Thanks for the likes, y'all. We've hit our goal for the stream. Yeah, people think Liko is stronger than Gita now, and if there was a 1v1, Liko would not stand a chance. Exactly. Still going to give you my thoughts eventually. Mitchell just been all over the place due to being sick. I see. You're good. Well as those clips about the laugh. I see. I see you. Okay, everyone. What else you got for me? It is we're about almost an hour and a half into the stream. Typically this is where we wrap things up, but if you guys still have things to talk about, I'll stay as long as I can before I have to actually get food. Stay warm, people. I will try to be healthy, you know. But, you know. I haven't even left my house all week, so it's been an interesting week so far. 10 likes. How old you should be to get a Pokemon Poppy exists? Like I said, should be. I don't know. It should be, I guess, the standard age, but like, I guess Poppy is like a prodigy or something. Who let this baby become an Elite Four member? It's unethical, I tell you. Unethical. I'm so hyped for the next episode. I'm so happy to see Kilowattrel again. Yeah, we will see what happens. My only request is that the secondary Pokemon don't get taken out, like, immediately. Also, Kilowattrel, please learn a new move. For the love of all that is holy. Oh my gosh, please. Do something. Oh, yeah, I've been enjoying Sakamoto Days. One of the One Piece anime is coming back soon. Fire Force Season 3 and the first part is coming up. Sakamoto Days is actually really fun. I'd recommend you guys check that one out. I think the next episode comes out tomorrow. Or did it come out today? It might have come out today. I'll probably be watching it later tonight, but I watched the first 2 episodes and it is a fun series. Kind of curious to see where we go from here. Anyways. Oh. Preschoolers class. Yeah, who let these kids have a Pokemon and why? Where are your parents? Also, I'm excited for the next episodes of Horizons 2 and what's in store for post-Rukua. We'll see what happens. It's very fun. I'm watching the anime and caught up on the manga. Yeah, that was kind of me with Dan to Dan too. I kind of, except for that series kind of ended on a cliffhanger ending. So I'm like, maybe I should pick up the manga. But yeah, I would recommend Sakamoto Days. It's pretty fun. Only 3 episodes out so far. You can get it on Netflix if you have it. In the trailer, we see Florgato jumping on the Draco meter. Liko is showing strategy on XY level Ash already. I mean, they've been showing a lot more strategy, especially since Terrestrial debuted, so makes sense for them to think outside the box at this point. Well, crack theory time. What if there's secretly another champion all the preschoolers with Pokemon look up to, and it's Poppy? That's why they became trainers secretly. But she lost in Horizons, technically. Dot and Iono technically won against her. And all the preschoolers' hearts broke immediately. Preschool wasn't so fun, or it wasn't so easy for teachers that day. Whew. Alrighty. Anything else, y'all? It's getting pretty close to lunchtime for me. DK music. Dubby Kong. Love it. Exactly. There were people who hated that episode. They came to our world, say their piece, and then dip back. I got nothing else to add. Anyone else got anything? Yep, this is pretty much the last calls for everyone. We're slightly past like the usual length for these streams. Like I said, they're like usually an hour and a half. So I'm gonna give you guys another minute. This will be last calls for anything. If anyone wants to talk about anything, the floor is yours. Just gonna give you about a minute here. If not, I need to go eat my lunch. I hungry. So yeah, just one more minute, and then if not, we'll wrap things up. Hey, look, Korok Forest, lo-fi remix. Anything, guys? Anything at all? Anything or everything? I'm just kind of vibing here to the music. It's really nice. Alright, it's been about a minute here, so I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. It's been a fun stream. A little bit longer than normal, but yep, I can accommodate. But anyways, this was a good episode overall. I'd say it's a 9 out of 10, and 9/10 won the poll, so we'll just say this episode's a 9. Hope you enjoy your lunch, enjoy the rest of your day, and see you whenever I do next. Thank you so much, Harlster. It was a pleasure talking to you today, and I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. Stephen Kennedy, you're here right before the end here. I think little Roy and Dot should catch a third Pokemon, and he should get her, and You mean Liko should get her fourth Pokemon, Big Armarouge? We'll see what happens. How are you doing, Steven? But anywho, guys, we are gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Remember, before we get out of here, remember to like the stream, subscribe if you haven't. I mean, I imagine you're all subscribers, so I guess that's irrelevant. It looks like we have 21 votes. A pretty decent total. 10-9-1, 62%, 8-7, 29%, and 6-5 got 10% of the votes. So 2 people said this was a 6 or 5. Fair, I suppose. Anywho, we're going to end the poll. Okay, guys. Well, this is going to conclude today's stream. So, yeah. Next week, we will be doing Final Fantasy IX on Monday and Wednesday. We're getting closer to the end of that game. And then I guess we'll see what game I pick up after that. I haven't decided yet. But we'll obviously be doing the Horizon stream next Saturday. And yeah. Fun times. We'll see what happens in episode 82 as we go to face off against Rayquaza. It should be an interesting one. But like always, I will be here to do the live discussion. So I encourage you guys to show up, chat and just hang out. We usually have a chill time here. So yeah. Anyways, if you're still here, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of the day or night wherever you're at. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you all later. Bye now.